Imagine a situation. You are completely alone, and suddenly your body starts sending alarming signals. The thought of a heart attack, with no one nearby to help, is terrifying. Unfortunately, such situations occur more often than we would like to think. Many of us subconsciously hope that time will be on our side, or that help will arrive in time. However, the reality is that the first minutes are crucial, and the outcome depends on your actions, or conversely, inaction. But don't despair. Even if you live alone or spend a lot of time alone, you have a chance to survive a heart attack. The main thing is to act quickly and know what to do. Next, we will consider 7 essential steps that must be taken in the first minutes of an attack when you are alone. These steps are simple, practical, and can save your life. No medical education or special equipment is required, only preparedness and the ability to remain calm. You will learn how to recognize the first symptoms, what to take. Immediately, how to reduce the load on the heart, and what actions can give you precious time to call for help. Don't miss a single step by watching to the end. Often the last steps go unnoticed, but they can play a decisive role in saving your life. Don't wait until it's too late to understand what your body is trying to tell you. 1. Recognizing the earliest symptoms. The first and perhaps most important step in surviving a heart attack is the ability to recognize its manifestations. It is important to understand how it feels, and not only in the chest area, but throughout the body. Most people imagine a dramatic tearing pain in the chest, like in a movie. However, in reality, everything can start much more subtly, and these early symptoms are easy to ignore until it is too late. Pay attention to a deep, unpleasant feeling of pressure or tightness in the center of the chest. It may seem that something is pressing on the chest, or as if it is being filled with cement. The pain may intensify and then disappear, creating a false sense of security. But if it lasts for more than a few minutes or returns, don't ignore it. Other early signs include shortness of breath, even without chest pain. It may seem as if you have just climbed the stairs, although you are just sitting. You should also pay attention to pain in the arm, shoulder, neck, or jaw, dizziness, cold sweat, and nausea. It is important to remember that in women and the elderly, a heart attack may manifest as pain in the back or abdomen, rather than in the chest. The story of 74-year-old Nicholas serves as a vivid example of how important it is to listen to the signals of your body. One day, sitting at the kitchen table, he felt an unusual squeezing sensation under his clavicle, resembling heartburn. Soon, shortness of breath and suddenly sweaty palms were added to this. Nicholas recalled that a heart attack does not always manifest as acute pain, and decided not to ignore these signs. This decision probably saved his life. The body often sends quiet alarm signals before bursting into a scream, and in the case of a heart attack, this whisper may be the only chance to prevent irreversible consequences. Waiting for the classic picture with grabbing the chest can lead to a fatal delay. Therefore, if any alarming symptoms appear, especially pressure in the chest, shortness of breath, or unexplained fatigue, it is necessary to immediately stop any activity. You should not tolerate discomfort or attribute everything to ordinary heartburn. Timely recognition of symptoms is the first and most important step to survival. Any suspicious sensations should be treated with the utmost seriousness, even if they seem insignificant, because life is at stake. The second vital action when a heart attack is suspected is to immediately call an ambulance. You should not hope that the symptoms will disappear on their own or try to get to the hospital on your own. Calling an ambulance is not a manifestation of panic, but the fastest and most effective way to get qualified help and increase your chances of survival. A heart attack is not a condition that can be endured. Every minute of delay can lead to irreversible damage to the heart muscle due to a lack of oxygen. The ambulance crew, when responding to a call, is already ready to provide emergency assistance. They have the necessary equipment, medications, and they have the knowledge and skills to maintain the heart's function in case it stops. the situation can worsen suddenly, and at this moment, independent actions may be impossible. Trying to get to the hospital on your own can lead to loss of consciousness, an accident, and as a result, a loss of precious time. The story of 78-year-old Lyudmila serves as another confirmation of the importance of timely seeking medical help. She felt pain in her left shoulder, nausea, and a sudden chill. At first, she wanted to call her son, but she remembered the nurse's advice. If you are alone and suspect a heart attack, call an ambulance first, talk to your family later. She followed this advice, and by the time the ambulance arrived, her condition had worsened. Thanks to the prompt actions of the paramedics, she received timely assistance, which saved her life. Don't hesitate to call for emergency help if you suspect a heart attack. The emergency operator will not scold you for a false alarm. It's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to saving a life. Keep your phone within reach, especially if you live alone. If you experience symptoms and cannot speak, use the emergency call button, which is usually available on the lock screen of most modern phones. Familiarize yourself with the location of this feature on your device and memorize it. After calling an ambulance, an equally important step is to slowly and thoroughly chew an aspirin tablet. Do not swallow it whole, but chew it, despite any possible trembling in your hands. If you have regular aspirin in a dosage of 325 mg on hand, and you are not allergic to this drug, and you are not taking anticoagulants, in which aspirin is contraindicated, this simple step can significantly increase your chances of survival during a heart attack. Aspirin has the ability to thin the blood. Slowing down or stopping the growth of a blood clot that can block the lumen of the coronary artery, causing a heart attack. Chewing the tablet ensures faster absorption of the drug, which, according to studies, can win precious minutes and even restore partial blood flow before the arrival of the medical team. It is important to remember that taking aspirin on an empty stomach is not recommended, except in emergency cases when the risk of blood clot formation significantly outweighs the potential harm to the stomach. Also, do not use coated or sustained-release aspirin, but if there is no other option, chew it too to ensure the fastest possible onset of action. As an example, consider the story of Yuri, a 72-year-old man who one morning felt a constricting pain in his chest radiating to his neck. He remembered the aspirin supply in the kitchen cabinet, took one tablet, chewed it thoroughly, sat down, and waited for the ambulance to arrive. Later, the cardiologist told him that this timely action may have reduced the extent of damage to the heart muscle, preventing the development of the worst-case scenario. If you live alone, make sure that aspirin is always in easily accessible places, such as a bedside table, kitchen drawer, or even a wallet. Regularly check the expiration date of the drug and inform your loved ones of its location so that they can assist you if necessary. This simple measure, confirmed by scientific research and widely used by medical professionals around the world, can play a decisive role in the first critical minutes of a heart attack, determining the outcome of the disease. Chewing aspirin at the first signs of a heart attack is not just a recommendation. It is a proven remedy that can make the difference between returning home on your own 2 feet and a tragic outcome. After calling for emergency help and taking aspirin, the patient should immediately stop all physical activity. They should assume a sitting or lying position that provides maximum comfort and safety. In this situation, it is not recommended to move around the room, gather belongings, or open doors unless absolutely necessary. Any unnecessary movement puts additional stress on the heart muscle, which is currently experiencing a lack of oxygen. The optimal position is sitting, with the back resting against a wall or chair back, feet firmly on the floor, and arms relaxed on the knees or at the sides. This posture minimizes stress on the heart and conserves energy until medical personnel arrive. In case of a pre-syncopal state or dizziness, it is recommended to lie on your side, placing a pillow or bolster under your head to slightly elevate it. Do not ignore uncomfortable sensations and try to endure them. Although showing resilience may be helpful in other life circumstances, in this situation, it is associated with unjustified risk. Often people who call an ambulance feel embarrassed that they are just sitting and doing nothing. However, it is important to realize that this is an active action, giving the heart a chance to stabilize, slowing breathing, and preventing the useless expenditure of oxygen. As an example, consider the story of 81-year-old Ala, who, feeling a constricting pain in her chest spreading throughout her body, initially wanted to start cleaning the kitchen and packing. However, remembering her doctor's instructions, if you feel heart-related pain, sit down. Everything else can wait. She settled into her favorite chair and waited for the ambulance to arrive. Doctors later informed her that her immobility likely prevented cardiac arrest. Therefore, if symptoms such as a crushing chest pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness occur, current activities should be stopped immediately. You should stop where you are or move the minimum distance to a safer place. While sitting or lying down, breathe slowly and calmly, allowing the body to focus on the main task: survival. It should also be considered that when sitting on a chair without armrests, it is important to keep your back straight, avoiding slouching. Free and even breathing helps reduce the load on the heart. The more relaxed and straight the posture, the less effort the heart muscle will require. In a moment when every second counts, simply opening the door for the arriving ambulance crew can play a crucial role in saving a life. This gesture, which seems insignificant, can significantly reduce the time it takes for medics to begin providing assistance. After all, in emergency situations, delay can be very costly. Of course, paramedics have the skills and tools to overcome obstacles, including breaking down doors. However, such actions inevitably lead to a loss of precious seconds, property damage, and potential danger to the patient, especially if they are in close proximity to the entrance. An open door allows the crew to immediately enter and begin performing their duties, without wasting time overcoming obstacles. This issue is especially relevant for people living alone, especially in apartment buildings with intercoms. Advanced preparation for such a situation may include determining the location of the keys, having a spare remote control or intercom code, and ensuring the door is easy to open from the inside. It is also important to ensure good visibility of the apartment or house number. Having a spare key with a trusted person who can arrive quickly can also be invaluable. A telling example is that of Pavel, a 76-year-old man who, feeling unwell, called an ambulance, took aspirin, and opened the front door. According to paramedics, these actions allowed them to reduce arrival time by 30 seconds and avoid having to break down the door. Pavel admitted that opening the door was the last thing he thought of, but perhaps it was this act that gave him a chance to receive timely help. In cases where moving to the door involves risk or excessive effort, this idea should be abandoned. Instead, it is recommended to remain calm and focus on breathing. However, if the patient is near the door and feels confident enough, opening it can be an important contribution to the rescue process. As additional precautions, consider installing a smart lock with remote access or a medical safe for storing keys. These solutions are especially relevant for single people or those who have difficulty moving around. Such actions, which seem insignificant, demonstrate to the ambulance crew the patient's willingness to cooperate and their conscious participation in the rescue process. This is a kind of relay race, when the patient does everything possible on their part, and the medics take responsibility for further assistance. In a critical situation of a heart attack, when a person is left alone with danger, the phone turns from a simple means of communication into a vital thread connecting with the world. One of the most sensible decisions is to activate the speakerphone when calling emergency medical assistance. This step allows you to free your hands, which is extremely important for concentrating on breathing and maintaining calm. The lack of need to hold the phone to your ear reduces physical stress, which in conditions of oxygen starvation can only worsen the situation. Moreover, the speakerphone allows the dispatcher to hear the caller's breathing, intonations, and any changes in their condition more clearly. No less important tool is the medical ID in the phone. This section stores key information about the owner: age, allergies, list of medications taken, and chronic diseases. In case of loss of consciousness before the arrival of the ambulance, this data can save precious minutes and help doctors make informed decisions. An example is the case of 79-year-old Svetlana, who lost consciousness shortly before the arrival of the ambulance crew. Thanks to the pre-configured medical profile, the doctors instantly received information about her diabetes and penicillin allergy. This prevented the administration of a potentially dangerous drug and allowed them to quickly contact her daughter, whose number was listed as an emergency contact. Setting up a medical profile is a simple procedure that takes no more than 5 minutes, but it can save a life. The profile should include the name, date of birth, main diseases, medications taken, allergies, and emergency contact information. This feature is important not only for tech-savvy people, but also for anyone who may find themselves in a situation where they cannot speak for themselves. Thus, at the first signs of a heart attack, it is necessary to activate the speakerphone on the phone, stay on the line, and carefully listen to the dispatcher's instructions. Their calm, clear instructions and presence can significantly reduce the level of fear and anxiety while waiting for help. In case of loss of consciousness, the phone will take on the role of voice, transmitting important information to doctors when the person can no longer do it. In the moment of a heart attack, when panic tries to take control and a painful spasm constricts the chest, it is important to remember the powerful tool that is always at hand: breathing. Proper use of breathing techniques can stabilize the nervous system and provide the heart with much-needed respite. Controlled breathing is by no means a substitute for qualified medical care for a heart attack. However, it can be an effective way to prevent shock until doctors arrive. A rapid heartbeat caused by anxiety can be slowed down. Gently returning the heart rate to normal with simple breathing exercises. No special skills are required. Simply inhale slowly through the nose for about 4 seconds. Hold your breath for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeating this cycle allows the body to gain a foothold and prevent dangerous arrhythmias triggered by stress. Let's recall the story of 83-year-old Frank, whose sudden pain plunged him into a whirlpool of fear. At this critical moment, he remembered a simple breathing exercise recommended by his doctor during one of his appointments. Focusing on his breathing, he remained still and managed to curb the panic. When the ambulance arrived, his heart was still working erratically, but thanks to his efforts, a stop was avoided. I kept telling myself, calm is life, he recalled later. Such breathing exercises can be practiced at any time, at rest, when anxious, or even while watching television. The more familiar this sensation becomes, the faster the body will be able to automatically return to it in a crisis situation. Breathing cannot restore damaged vessels, but it can buy precious time, supporting oxygen supply and giving the heart a chance to hold on. In the critical minutes before medical help arrives, this may be enough. Staying still and controlling your breathing means staying alive. In conclusion, surviving a heart attack alone is not just a matter of luck. It is the result of preparation, awareness, and the ability to act calmly and clearly. The 7 steps described above, which seem simple individually, together form a powerful chain that can save a life. In a critical situation of a heart attack, when every second counts, it is necessary to act quickly and deliberately. First of all, it is important to learn to recognize the first warning signs that may foreshadow an impending danger. Do not ignore symptoms such as sudden chest pain radiating to the arm or jaw, difficulty breathing, nausea, or dizziness. If these signs appear, call an ambulance immediately. Clearly and calmly inform the dispatcher about your condition and location. At the same time, if you have no contraindications, take an aspirin tablet, which will help thin the blood and improve blood flow. To conserve energy and reduce the load on the heart, sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Try to make it as easy as possible for the ambulance crew to access you. Open the door, remove obstacles, and prepare the necessary documents. Use the phone to contact loved ones or neighbors, so that they can provide you with support and monitor the situation until medical personnel arrive. Focus on your breathing, trying to slow down and deepen each inhale and exhale. This will help stabilize the heart rate and reduce panic. Each step taken is precious time that you are winning for yourself. Each step returns you to control of the situation and strengthens confidence in your abilities. Remember that even alone, you are not helpless. A heart attack can trigger feelings of isolation, but knowing these simple steps allows you to actively fight for your life. Consider which of these steps made the biggest impression on you. Perhaps you learned something new or looked at familiar things from a different angle. Try to remember this information and share it with your loved ones. This knowledge can save not only your life, but also the lives of those you care about.